Jeff, can you update Adam Ernie's status? I saw he was on the protocol list yesterday.
He's on the protocol list and he's out tonight. That's all I'd say.
Okay, so there's no knowing that how long you'll be out. It's just a day to day.
Yep.
Okay, and Fabry, is he? What's his status? Is he ready yet?
No, he's not going to play tonight. He's going to start to run out of runway here too. So, I don't, he's been day to day, but as we're getting closer here, we'll see. But right now he's out tonight.
Okay. And anybody else who played the last game unavailable for tonight?
Nope. Everybody that played last game is available with the exception of Adam Erne.
Okay. And just your thoughts on facing Carolina. Obviously, last time you played there, had a couple of good games, beat them twice. Have had some success against them. Just generally, how do you feel you match up against them?
I don't know if it's as much matchups as every particular game kind of takes a life of its own. They're a really good hockey team. Obviously, one of the best in the league. I think they've over the last couple of years, they've really increased their forward skill and depth to where they have a really elite group of forwards. They got an elite group of D, in my opinion, and all their goalies have played well. So, they're a team that wants to tilt the ice. They want to play in your end. And if you spend a bunch of time in your end, you're in trouble. When you get a puck against Carolina, that puck better get out. And if it stays in your end, they feed off that, and they really get you kind of swimming in your own end. So, when we've had some success, we've done a good job of being quicker in our end. We've done a good job getting pucks out and done a good job playing in their end. Probably most importantly, teams that want to tilt the ice, you got to try to tilt it back the other way. But it's not an easy task, and it certainly won't be tonight.
I noticed, I think in like 12 of the last 14 games, you've only gotten one or two power plays. Do you read anything into that? I mean, is there fewer penalties being called, or just what do you, anything to make of that?
We got to draw penalties, so we just obviously haven't drawn enough penalties. I don't know if I'd read more into it. I don't know, some of the games there wasn't much called either way. Some of the games, it was a little lopsided against us. And does that mean, in a couple of those games, did we have the puck enough? Maybe not. I don't know that that's really across the board by any stretch. We've lost a few guys that I think do a good job of drawing penalties with their individual ability. So we just gotta make sure when we get power plays or when we get on the penalty kill, we execute the best we can. But we can't, we don't have any control over what the referees call. All we have control over is making sure we do a good job of trying not to take penalties.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
Next up, Ted Colfin, Detroit News.
Hey, Jeff, talk about the progress of Philip Bronek this year, the development. I mean, I know at one point there a few weeks ago you were really pleased, optimistic about where he was headed. I mean, I would assume it's still pretty close to that. I mean, just what type of season do you think he's had?
Philip's had a solid season. I don't think any of us can claim we've had great years. We're not good enough up in the standings, but he's had a solid season. I think, he's been forced to really, trial by fire. He's been thrown into the mix big time, and it's sometimes a hard thing to do. You don't have maybe a veteran defenseman that can carry you along as you make mistakes. He's got to kind of sink or swim on a nightly basis, and I think enough nights he swam, and he's growing, and Philip wants to be a good player. He wants to win, and so he's working towards getting better. So I think in all the areas of the game, the power play, the penalty kill, and 5-on-5, there's areas for growth there. He knows that, and he's going to keep working towards it.
Okay, I was going to follow up, like, where do you see most of his development still to come? Like, what areas would you like to see some more improvement in and whatnot?
Probably a little bit of everything,
Okay.
Certainly, I think, one of the things that him and I've talked about is making sure that he eliminates any big minuses, any big, you just can't be a team that gives away easy chances, and so make sure, on a consistent basis, night to night, he's doing a good job of not giving away any easy chances. Certainly the other team's going to create their own enough. We can't give them away. And that's just the growth of the hockey team in general. And then I think, finding a way to push our power play to being better. And it's not on one guy, it's on the 5 guys that are out there, but certainly every guy has their own responsibility within that. So I just think it's a kind of general growth and growing as a player. And he certainly has taken steps from when he first got here. But like all of us, if we want to be a better hockey team, the individuals on that team have to continue to grow.
And just one more, and staying on the defense, how about the progress of Chalowski and Lindstrom? What have you been seeing there here in the last week or two?
Overall, I think they've both done a solid job. In their own different ways. Now that 2 games ago was Dennis's best game. I didn't think it was as good last game, and so that's the consistency that you have to have in this league. It's an every night league, and they're going to get challenged again here tonight. So I think it's good for them to be able to play in these games as long as they're playing well. And if they got to keep making sure they're earning their ice time, and if they don't earn their ice time, then we'll put somebody else in. But so far I think they've done a solid job.
Perfect. Thanks for this, Jeff.
Yep.
Next question from Max Boltman with The Athletic.
Hey, Jeff, I'm curious, is there anything that you guys did this season out of necessity that you'd like to keep going forward as a coaching staff, as a team?
What do you mean by necessity?
Well, like, you guys send out like the pregame meetings in video, in pre-recorded video form now, like stuff like that, I guess, is what I'm kind of thinking of.
I got you. Yeah. Certainly I've liked the way that we've sent out the team meetings, pre-recorded. I think it gives a little more flexibility to the players to watch it on their own when they want, and it frees up their morning or night, depending when you have your meetings. It just gives a little bit more freedom. I'll talk to the players at the end of the season and just get a feel for, if they thought it was a good way to learn. But I think that's been one thing for sure that I think we would use carrying forward. Of all the different stuff we've had, I'd say that's one big one.
And then I know you guys have one fewer coach. Like, where has that kind of shown up, or has it worked okay at being a little undermanned in the coaching room?
Yeah, I don't know if it's undermanned. I mean, I think historically, in the last, 15 years, maybe there's been 3 coaches on a bench. It wasn't that long ago. There was only 2 coaches on a bench, and probably not, you go back a ways, there's 1 coach on a bench. So, I don't know what the right number is. I think it's the right people. I think it's divvying up the responsibilities. I definitely have never felt like we've been undermanned this year by any stretch. I think everybody's got their responsibilities, and depending on the number of people you have is depending on what their strengths are. That's how you divide up those roles and responsibilities. So I just think it's having the right people, and I know our coaching staff's worked extremely hard to help this group get better every day, both as a team and as individuals.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's it for us this morning. Thanks, everyone.